The grinding screech of metal tracks on gravel tore through the dawn like a battle cry, jolting Ethan Carter from sleep. His heart thundered as he stumbled to the window, half-con VY, and said it was a dream until the diesel roared again. There, lumbering down the road toward the weathered red barn, his grandfather's legacy. His childhood sanctuary was a bulldozer, its blade gleaming with menace. That barn wasn't just wood and nails. It was 6 generations of Carter blood, sweat, and stories, holding his dad's carved initials, a jar of faded Polaroids, and a brittle baseball glove for 1952. Ethan yanked on boots, grabbed a jacket, and sprinted outside, sleep still clouding his eyes. Chaos greeted him like a slap. Yellow-vested workers strung caution tape. Orange cones dotted the ground, and a woman in a crisp navy suit with oversized sunglasses barked orders like a drill sergeant. Clipboard in hand, walkie-talkie squawking, she was unmistakable. Victoria Steele, HOA president and self-crowned tyrant of Pine Hollow. "You can't do this," Ethan shouted, nearly tripping on loose gravel. "You're not tearing down that barn." Victoria turned, her smile so rehearsed it could have been plastic. "This is HOA business, young man. That relic VY OLAT Code 41 structural and aesthetic threat to our standards." She tapped her clipboard like it was holy writ. Notice was posted last week. No response equals consent. Ethan's jaw dropped. Posted where? She waved vaguely toward the street. On the mailbox. Must have blown off in the rain. Not my problem. He stared, speechless, as the bulldozer lurched forward. Desperate, he darted in front of it, arms outstretched. The operator hesitated, engine growling. Victoria's eyes narrowed. "Move. I'll have you removed for obstruction." Then the porch door creaked, and the world paused. Walter Bennett, Ethan's grandfather, stepped out in a flannel shirt and jeans, his presence commanding despite his age. Workers froze. Even Victoria faltered. Walter moved with the steady gait of a man who never hurried, yet always arrived. He locked eyes with the operator. "Turn off that engine." The man glanced at Victoria, then back at Walter, and killed the motor. Victoria's face twisted. "You have no authority here. That barn's condemned, and you're delinquent on HOA fees." Walter's voice was calm, like a river over stone. "Do you have a county demolition permit for non-HOA land?" She blinked. "What?" He stepped closer. "This barn isn't on HOA property. Never was. Your map's wrong." Victoria scoffed, flipping through her clipboard. "This block was annexed last year." Walter's eyes sharpened, hinting at the federal judge he'd once been. "Check the deeds. This land was exempted in 1973. That barn's protected. You're in legal quicksand, Victoria." Her mouth opened, but no words came. She muttered about re-VYUing documents and waved the crew off. The bulldozer retreated, dust swirling like a defeated army. Inside, Ethan slumped into a chair, dazed. "Grandpa, what just happened?" Walter poured black coffee, unruffled. "The HOA's gotten greedy. Victoria's not just after our barn, squeezing everyone. But she picked the wrong fight." Ethan's eyes widened. "How'd you know all that?" "The deeds, the codes." Walter's lips twitched. "I wrote those land agreements as a judge. Retired, not rusty." Ethan leaned forward. "You're going to sue her?" Walter nodded. "First, we build a case. Then we expose every dirty trick she's got." Ethan barely slept, haunted by the bulldozer's blade and Victoria's smug grin. If Walter hadn't intervened, the barn would be rubble. The next morning, Walter was at the kitchen table, a legal pad scrawled with notes, manila folders stacked beside coffee. "We need a plan," he said. Ethan sat, still groggy. "You were really a federal judge?" Walter nodded. 28 years. CIVYL law. Retired after your grandma passed to grow potatoes and fix fences. Thought I was done with fights. He smirked. "Guess not." They pored over documents, deeds, surveys, a 1973 agreement excluding their land from HOA control. Ethan frowned. Victoria said the boundaries were redrawn. Walter tapped his pen. "If so, it needed my signature. I didn't give it. She's either lying or forging." They called Walter's old courthouse contact, Clara Hensley, now a florist with archive access. By noon, she sent a parcel history. No annexation, but a 6-month-old HOA boundary expansion request filed by Victoria, marked pending with no approval. Walter's eyes narrowed at another find. A lien on their property for unpaid HOA dues, signed with an expired notary stamp from Victoria's sister, Diane Steele. That's fraud, Walter said. But we need a pattern. They dug through 2 years of HOA notices fines for fence height, chicken noise, even porch paint. Ethan took his dirt bike, collecting stories from neighbors. The Garcias, fined for overly VY Brandt, roses. The Thompsons, penalized for reflective wind chimes. Each had documents, threats, and fear of Victoria's wrath. One had a voicemail of her demanding a driveway repaint or demolition. By nightfall, Ethan's backpack bulged with EVY Denke. Walter nodded. She's running a scam. Tomorrow, we let her think she's won. At the emergency HOA meeting, tension crackled. Victoria arrived late in a crimson suit, clipboard gleaming, flanked by loyalists. The packed community center buzzed as she pitched the barn's demolition, citing community standards and anonymous complaints. No one nodded. Walter stood, silencing the room. Before you vote, see these. He handed out deeds pro-VYing the barn's exemption. Victoria filed a fraudulent lien with an expired notary, her sister's. The annexation she claims? Unapproved. He gestured to Ethan, who distributed neighbors' complaints, fines, threats, forged stamps. A board member, Tom Rivera, stood, voice shaking. Victoria met a developer last month. Said the barn had to go for a deal. I recorded it. He played the audio of Victoria's voice scheming to fix boundaries later. The room erupted. Victoria stammered, misunderstanding, but Walter pressed. You've harassed this community for years. I'm filing for an injunction. Who's with me? No one voted for demolition. Neighbors walked out, Leah VYing Victoria alone, her power crumbling. At the courthouse, Walter and Ethan faced Victoria's flashy lawyer, who dismissed the case as a neighborly spat. Walter presented EVY Denke with surgical precision, fraudulent stamps, unapproved annexations, neighbor affida VYTS. The judge, recognizing Walter, granted an injunction, froze HOA funds, and referred Victoria for criminal investigation. Victoria, sunglasses off, looked defeated, her lawyer whispering frantically. Weeks later, the HOA unraveled. Victoria faced fraud charges, her accounts frozen. She was spotted mowing a public park, a humbling fall. The barn stood tall, a symbol of defiance. Neighbors formed a new Add VY Sorry board, and Ethan, inspired, considered law school with a scholarship from Walter's Foundation. At a bonfire, Walter said, "We gave people their voice back." Ethan nodded, staring at the barn under starlight. It wasn't just a building, it was a promise, unbulldozed. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.